So I think what we started our journey, it's in October 2024. So we were actually a Splunk house. So we had a Splunk team. We didn't have any automations or anything. We were looking for a SOC solution. Predominantly, we wanted to have 24/7 support detection. So we wanted to have that as a SOC service because we are Monday to Friday as a university, and we are a small team as well. So we all the time we have extended to 5 members now. We think we've got 6 members, but when we started, we were like quite small, three members, and two wearing various hats. And I'm sure all the university customers here would kind of understand that. So we started with KHIPU-SOC. So we got a really strict deadline because our existing Splunk was kind of license was expiring by end of November. So we had to make sure that we onboard all of our whatever we ingest into Splunk into our new Chronicle and have that knowledge transfer as well. Then pretty much get up and running before we decommission our Splunk. So we started with KHIPU. I mean, hats off to KHIPU. They're really good engineers. They work tirelessly to meet this deadline. We actually managed to get everything done week before we decommissioned Splunk. We managed to actually go and beyond, to be honest. We initially thought that we're just going to get our firewalls, IDPs, XDR. We actually managed to do further beyond than that. We managed to actually onboard all our Azure tenancy and the AWS side of things. So we managed to do a lot more before the deadline of Splunk. So the next stage was to kind of go to the fine tune process. I think we wanted to make sure we get rid of all the false positive. We didn't want to kind of alert things, and obviously have the alert fatigue was the main thing that we had in our mind. Because we wanted to make sure that we get an alert that it's a true positive. So we wanted to investigate it. So we went through that process for like 6-7 months with KHIPU. The engineer is very, very knowledgeable, and the way we work with it's very flexible as well. So we just work really, really great with us. Because previously when you were Splunk customers, we had to purchase their professional services time to do any work with them. So, but with the SOC customers, the way they work with us, which is worked really, really well. We didn't know about Chronicle in the beginning. It was quite a new tool for us because we were kind of Splunk house at that point. But it just the help it managed to kind of make us really, really the onboard make it really, really easy for us. Then after we had this fine-tune process that we obviously prioritized with the P1 detections, to be able to make sure that any like priority one, like if like high, medium critical severities need to be captured, and make sure our mean time to detection is on point. So we kind of worked through that. We had a bunch of rules that KHIPU actually had to start with. So we obviously worked with them with that. We created our own rules. We had our own use cases. So once we realized is after that, we're getting all the detections, they're positives, how we can remediate them, because we're still 9 to 5. And there's quite a lot of stuff that actually repetitive tasks. So we need a better way of doing this. So because if you all have to do this 9 to 5 manually, it's going to take a lot of our time. And the thing is, with universities, you have a lot of accounts. Like students, we go around roughly with staff and students around 36,000 accounts. Having compromised accounts and the attack surface, you look at it, it's massive, it's huge. So how do we automate certain things that we know that need to take action, and that's very repetitive? So the most common thing that we've seen is the account getting compromised, and we normally see that at least minimum 12, 10 on average, but during the peak times when we have teaching going on, it goes up to 30, 40 sometimes. So we need a better way of doing it. So we went to KHIPU and asked that could we automate certain things. So then the main reason behind automation is we wanted to have a faster response time. So mean time to detect response, we want to increase as much as possible. So we're looking at the use cases. Mainly we were looking at this compromised accounts. There are phishing emails that comes in. Then there are so many IP addresses trying to probe our network, trying to see this, and they're definitely malicious, and we wanted to block them. So how best we could do in an automated fashion, and if we could fully automate that when we are not around, then the response will take care of itself. The other key thing was the scalability. So we have I think we have around 250 detection rules in Chronicle. and it grows as well. So during the peak times when the students are in the campus a lot, it just goes up. So we wanted to be able to scale it in a way that automation can take care of it when the alert grows as well. So the other key thing was that the three thing is the response. So we need to make sure that whatever we automate, that has in a way that it'll follow the whole process that needs to be followed. So for example, when we change someone's password, we can't just randomize password and not let the service desk know. So we kind of have to find a way how we can let them know, as well as to manage the user side of things as well. So how we can automate the whole thing, then that would be the one that we could work for it. Because if you just automate just randomizing the password, but then everything else manual, it doesn't work for us. So we wanted to make sure the whole incident lifecycle needs to be automated. So we looked at into like, if you were to use it, how we can automate the full incident lifecycle. Then the other key thing is every universities, I think everyone have standards and processes. So whatever the automations we're going to do, we'll have to fit in our processes, our standards. So then it will be just need to create a ticket, need to inform the user, then has to be all across the team. So because security team, we can do the remediation, but then the whole service desk team need to be aware that there's someone's password being randomized, because if they get a phone call, they need to be aware of it. So we need to make sure there's some way of that, letting them know, as well as we managing this in a way that they don't get the burden. Because the main challenge with the automation, I think in the university, I could speak this very frankly, it's the risk of creating more work for others, as well as you get it wrong, then it's going to create behavior. So we want to make sure that whatever we do, it's do it properly and do it in a way that users don't get interrupted, because users don't mind we randomizing their password if they're legitimate security risk. But what they do mind is they're not be aware of it, because they might have like an assignment due. I'm a student myself. I'm going to be really annoyed if someone randomized my password just 5 minutes before I have to submit my assignment. So we need to make sure that there is a way that we could communicate the users well in a standard process. Then the other key thing is, as a security team, we wear many hats. We do firewalls, we do SIEM, we do SOC, and we have AWS, so we do compliance, we do a lot of stuff. So doing SOC alerts is great. We're getting them a lot, but if we were to do this manually every day, that's going to take a lot of our time. So we need to make sure that we can automate most repetitive stuff, most frequent stuff, as in a way that if it works for everyone, then we could obviously focus on other stuff, because we do some design work as well as in the university as well. So in some we've got network transformation going on. We've got a lot of projects we support as well. So you really need to find time because we are quite stretched. So we went to KHIPU. We said if you wanted to do some automation, what do you guys have as a SOC service? So they say that we could use the XO tenancy in a child tenancy, XO engine. So we started with that first. So what they said to us is, okay, so you guys could come up with a plan. How do you want it to be automated? Just be bold, put whatever you wanted to do in there. We'll come up with an automation so we can work with you guys. So the logic actually that we came up with is essentially it's in this image. So the first is there's a detection comes in, creates a ticket in the KHIPU SOC. Then there's an analyst that'll be assigned to it. Then they'll do the investigation. Then they can make a verdict, it's malicious or benign. Then if there is a malicious verdict, then we can trigger an advanced playbook that sits in our environment, if that makes sense. So what do I mean by our environment? So we wanted to make sure all the integrations are stays with us, because we don't really want to integrate our services into third party, because itself is a risk and it's not how we wanted to manage it. For us, we wanted to have control of it. We don't mind automated, but have to have the control of it. So what we've done is, I think this is what KHIPU offer to all customers as well. We have the XO engine that deployed in our environment, in our infrastructure. Then it connects to KHIPU SOC, then run the playbook, advanced playbooks on our XO engine, which is integrated to our Active Directory, Azure firewalls and everything. So we like the idea. So we said, let's do it. Then we came up with a workflow. So this is what a typical workflow looked like. What came up for us when we went to the business and asked for it, how do you want it to if we were to randomize password, how we want to do it. So first we put our security element of it, then we went to service desk, our service delivery team, asked them their opinion. And obviously they came their opinion as well. Then we came up with this. If I quickly run through this. So what we wanted to do is when we get an alert, if there's a suspicious logins, we want to kill that session and randomize the password. Great. That's tick all our boxes. But what we want to do next is, okay, we wanted to know that this happened. So we keep an eye on it, what's going on. And we wanted to make sure the service desk know that we randomize someone's password, because they know that if someone calls up the service desk. Then the other challenge is, okay, great, this is works, but then what happens? There's so many tickets comes on their queue. Do we have to call them, or do we have to do this? Is there a better way that you could contact the user as well and let them know randomize the password? Then it's just a waiting game, right? Because then after that, we could check if the user have changed the password, then close the ticket. Great idea. So it's like, yeah, why not? Let's try that. So we try to automate that as well. So we have like a fully automated. I have some screenshots. That's cool stuff I could show you guys around on there how it actually works. But we managed to fully implement this in a fully automated fashion. So essentially, how it works is when there's a trigger, there's a suspicious going on. We identify as a lead credential or suspicious logging. If there is active sessions, we'll kill that session. And we'll randomize the password. We'll put like 32 string long characters that hard to brute force. Then we'll create a service desk ticket on our ticketing system, and we'll email the user's personal email. And then the playbook goes to a monitoring mode where it will check whether the user have changed the password, and if users change the password, it close the ticket automatically. But then we'll give a 5-day period of the ticket as well. So if user haven't reached out, it will close it automatically. The key thing is now the user is being informed. So then it kind of take care of itself. So what we managed to do is with this, these are the alerts how we get it. So this playbook has been running for the last 6 months, could say, and we expanded this to other roles as well. So what happens is now all the notification comes to a team channel for us. So this is what it looks like when it triggers. It happens automatically 24/7. We don't have to do anything with this. So we get this simple notification to our team channel, and the user will be informed. They're going to get an email as well. So it basically says, we've randomized your password. These are the steps to go and change your password. So we managed to fully automate this. And this playbook, it's available for any SOC customers want to use it. We don't mind. We work with KHIPU to develop this, and we want everyone to use it where possible. This playbook is using Active Directory integration with XO to do the password change, and it do a custom integration with our ticketing system, create tickets, and it will do a integration with our mail system to send an email. So what we do is great. We got this playbook. Why don't we expand it? So we have another use case, impossible traveler. Quite frequently, we've seen it. People, users trying to log in from 2 different locations. This needs to do some remediation. We've seen it quite a lot. The main challenge with this one is there are quite false positive around this. The reason being is public VPN. Students use a lot of public VPN for various reasons, and this triggers alerts on us. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to randomize someone's password just because someone's using VPN, because it could be something we need to further investigate before we take the action. So what we came up with an idea is, okay, we got a playbook to randomize password. Why don't we just use the same playbook, but tweak it a bit, that we could, in a way that they will ask for us to input first. So what do we mean by that? So what we've done is when this playbook triggered, when we get a chronicle alert, what it does is it will run the Excel playbook, and it will send a notification to us in the screen in here with all the information, and it'll ask you, do you want to randomize the password? So at this point, what we normally do is KHIPU obviously get a ticket and investigate as well. So we'll wait for their verdict. So it's gonna get in soon, or we do or start our investigation as well at some point. So when we see that we'll make a verdict, then we'll go and there's a link, we can click on this and we can say yes, then we'll randomize the password. This is the way we chose to do it because we want to keep the control of it. But it's the same thing, you could offload it to KHIPU. I'm sure they can do that from their end if you wanted to just don't distribute it for them to do that. But this is how we want to do it. We want to control it, so we do it this way. And we managed to use the same playbook. It's a little bit of tweak. This is the main playbook that actually do the randomized password, and this is the tweaks that we did to change it slightly. Um, so this is exactly this is what it looks like when it runs to randomize someone's password. Very similar to the credentials, and you just get a notification to us. And we managed through a team channel much more easier than having a lot of emails. So we don't want people, because we will care about the alert fatigues. So we want to make sure that SOC alerts comes as an email, then they'll be separated to the Excel, because these are kind of more awareness thing, because we're quite confident how it works. The other thing, we came up with the malicious IPs. So we've seen a lot of IPs are probing on our environment, and we have an AWS and Azure environments as well. A lot of malicious IPs probing. This picture is quite small, sorry. But in essentially how it works is when we get a trigger alert from a critical, it will trigger this playbook. So we put some exceptions here because we don't run IPv6, so we don't want to block an IP address in IPv6 because it wouldn't make any sense for us. And we wanted to make sure that we don't block any private IP addresses, because that would be catastrophic in a university if you block any cider range or anything. So we managed to create a playbook that look at all those exceptions in an automated fashion. And it does more than that. So what we managed to do is, okay, Chronicle says it's malicious, but how do you know it's malicious? So should we check the reputation of IP? Okay, great. How do we reach that? Threat intelligence. Aristotle is very common. Alien World is very common. We managed to integrate a lot of that integrations with our Excel platform. Speaking of Excel, I forgot to mention, after we've seen the first playbook with KHIPU, what they've done, we wanted to have platform access for ourselves, because we've seen the value of it. So we just quickly, like, I went to my manager, could we have this, please? Could we have an Excel platform? And we seen the value as well. And then we managed to procure one quickly, and that kind of accelerate our automation side of things, because we managed to create a lot of playbooks ourselves and deploy it. And we knew how we wanted it, and we know what integrations we need. So we trained quite quickly, and KHIPU has been great. They have really good engineers that know inside out of Excel. So there's a quite a knowledge transfer, and we managed to do this ourselves with their help. So this playbook essentially triggers for an IP address to check the threat intelligence, and it will give a verdict. Then it will come to us saying this. So this malicious IP address, do you want to block it? So we started with this because there's a risk of you blocking something we don't want to block, and it's just going to cause an outage. So we start with this. So this similar to the Impossible Traveler. You could click a link, say yes or no, or block the IP in that. So what we've done is we integrate Excel with all our firewalls, and it will write to the firewall and we'll block everyone there. But once we got the confidence, we actually now this is fully automated, because now we're to a point that every time this triggers, we just say yes. What's the point of start waiting? We're reducing the mean time to respond. So let's just expand and make it fully automated. Currently, it's run fully automated. It's happy to say that it blocks a lot of IP in a day, and it kind of gives us a good indicator of what's going on as well, and our threat landscape was being attacked more, because we have AWS as well. There's a cloud environment as well as on-prem. So it gives a really good idea as well, and give peace of mind that this has been taken care of. Quickly, I think I'm running out of time. I'll quickly go through this quickly. We got last playbook is with phishing. Phishing is very common. I think most of the attack vectors are coming from phishing. We wanted a playbook to manage it, because we're getting quite a lot of reports. So we create a phishing playbook, which is work with KHIPU on this one. So what it essentially does is when it triggers, it'll give us a report. This report is really, really good, because it looks at the email, it looks at all the IOCs in the email, and give us this report. And when we ask us to, what do you want to do with it? Pretty much it's just basically what do you want to do in an email. First thing is you wanted to get that email out of everyone's mailbox, then see who have clicked on and take actions. So we have to a point that now we have automated process to get the email out of everyone's mailbox when we know it's malicious. And it happens really, really quickly, because we have managed through this playbook with the mean time to respond is now really, really good on this one. So when users report emails, it trigger this playbook. So then we'll look into this. Then I'll run a trace report. Then we'll have another approval process to confirm delete. So this is how we manage it. But once we get to a point that we know that this triggers, then we will automate those approval processes. Yeah, so these are the two of suspicious IPs that we actually now fully automated. Now it's blocking, so it doesn't go to the approval process. These are two samples we've seen quite a lot come in as well. What's next? we're working on with our XDR to create a playbook that we're nearly ready with that to isolate endpoints when we start with this. We will start with the workstations first, then move on to server side of things. But when we see something really bad going on a workstation, how we can isolate the endpoint, then we can take the necessary actions going forward. So that's ready to go. The other thing is we're working on is the BOYDs. We've seen a lot of infected devices got to come under control. They're BOYD. So there's nothing much we can do in terms of remediating it, but we wanted to make sure that we isolate on our network. So we're working with our NAC to do and using our NAC solutions to do in a way to automate fashion. So I think I ran out of the time, but I thought it was hopeful or useful. That's all from me. But if any questions, please do let me know. I think I'll be on the table as well.
Brilliant. Thank you, Dumi. You do actually have quite a few questions, so we'll run through them now quickly. I'll allow you to stop sharing your screen first. Perfect.
Yeah.
There you go. So the first one is, what were the primary goals Kingston had for deploying a SOC?
So I think the main thing is 24/7 monitoring. I think that's the key thing. And we wanted to make sure that whatever happens, that someone will keep an eye on our infrastructure when we're not around. I think that gives us a lot of peace of mind because we've seen a lot of attacks happening on Friday afternoon and weekends to us because they know when you're not around. So, and the other thing is when we get an alert, how we can respond it quickly. I think there's a main two key things that when we consider when you're doing that. And KHIPU came up with the 24/7, and always someone's keep an eye on it. And we have an escalation process. Now we have extended playbooks. I think we're in a good shape compared to what we wanted to do at the beginning of the project.
Perfect. The next question is, have you seen any issues with running playbooks?
Fingers crossed, no. I cannot totally understand the challenge around this. I think what we've done is engaging with other IT colleagues and trying to explain it. But we had a minor issue, but that was just spamming emails to us. But that was just a stupid mistake I did. But yeah, I think this is possible. I think we're a good example. This is very, very possible, and this is very doable. And we operate in large scale, like a large university. So I think take it slow, build the trust over the time, and I think you're going to get there. So what we have managed to create on our environment is everyone trust the playbooks, everyone trust it. There's a lot of trust around this. So when I go to our change advice reports, this is how I want to do it. They're just happy with this because we have all this discussion in the past, and there's a good trust around it. So I think this is definitely possible, but take your time, have your approval process work, have your manage mistakes and map it out how do you want to do it first, then build the trust and go to the full limit. I'm not saying go fully automation first, do semi-automation, then build towards to that. And it's definitely possible. We're living proof of that.
Great, thank you. And the final question is from Stephen. Are you willing to share playbooks? Do KHIPU facilitate sharing of common workflows? I'll let the KHIPU team answer that last question in the chat, but first question to you, are you willing to share the playbooks?
Of course, yeah. As I mentioned, all of these playbooks are available for everyone. So we wanted to, obviously, for everyone to benefit this them. Obviously, we put a lot of time in building them, but they're definitely available. So if anyone wants to use them, feel free to grab them. KHIPU will have access to it, so we don't hold any IPs or anything against it. So
great, perfect. Thank you so much for your time today, Dumi.
no problem.